3 out of the 5 largest single-day protests in the history of the United States of America happened last year in 2025, directly in response to Donald Trump's tyranny. Those protests are hands off, No Kings 1, and No Kings 2. And Indivisible today has announced the date for No Kings 3. Here we go, y'all. Get out your planners, save the date, March 28th, 2026, No Kings 3. More than 5 million people at No Kings 1, more than 7 million people at No Kings 2. How many do you think we can get out in the streets for No Kings 3? Now, it's impossible to exist on the internet in any kind of leftist space and bring up No Kings protests without immediately having people be like, ugh, those don't do anything. Ugh, those are just parades. Those are just rallies. They're totally pointless. That's not a real protest. And the snarky side of me wants to be like, yeah, we get it. We get it. You think that you're too cool for school, that you're not like other girls, that you're like so edgy, and that we're just a bunch of normies. In fact, there were people after No Kings 1 who made videos being like, ugh, I don't want to organize with normies. They're not going to get anything done. We need the normies. Hey, y'all, we need the normies. So I'm not going to be snarky here. I actually want to respond in good faith to anybody who thinks that events like No Kings Day are ineffectual and pointless, or who just like in general don't understand what is the point of No Kings. I really feel like we are in a moment where training, education, skill building is a crucial component of what we need to be doing. Let me pull out one of my 3x5 cards on civil resistance. When we're talking about what people power looks like, how we build a mass public opposition that has the power and will topple an authoritarian, either an authoritarian like Donald Trump, who is ascending, consolidating power and has not yet fully cemented that power, or an authoritarian who is well established and we're trying to topple them and institute a democracy. We need to understand that there are 3 types of people power. Number 1 are symbolic actions. These are the way that we get the word out about our movement, about our cause, but they don't actually do very much to disrupt the system. What they are about raising awareness, educating people, and also they're about recruitment into the movement. Symbolic actions are meant to show those in power, and in particular the pillars of support that are holding up the regime, that there is mass public opposition. They are literally demonstrations of our people power. They are showing everybody, hey, we're not going to let this be normalized. There's a whole fuck ton of people that are opposed to this, and we are working in so many ways to be non-cooperative with the system. It's a visible flex to everybody, right? It's a show of force. It's a show of how big our numbers are. Other symbolic actions are ones that individuals undertake, but together they have that demonstration of collective power. So like signs for solidarity, having a sign in your shop window that says immigrants are welcome here, or wearing a button that says No Kings or abolish ICE, something like that. Just a small visible display that lets everybody know, hey, I'm not cooperating. I'm not down with what's happening in the country right now. Right, that symbolic action is a way that we as individuals can show our non-compliance with the regime. And you add those small everyday actions of symbolic resistance with these really big acts like No Kings Day. And I know it can seem like those don't do anything because they in and of themselves do not disrupt the system, and direct action needs to be disruptive, right? I agree with people who say No Kings doesn't matter because it's not disrupting anything. Although it is in many cities where it happens, it shuts down the interstate in Portland, right? There is disruption that does occur, but it's not significant enough on those pillars of support in the system itself. But that's not the point of those symbolic actions. That's not the point. We never expected Donald Trump and the Republicans to see millions of people in the street on a Saturday with their bubbles and their frog suits and their tutus and what have you, and be like, oh shit, okay, I guess we gotta quit. I guess we're just gonna lay down and give up now. That's not how you stop an authoritarian. And that was never the goal of those events. Events like No Kings Day are that massive show of public opposition. They are normalizing opposition in every corner of the United States. It's telling the pillars of support the resistance is literally, we're fucking everywhere. We are everywhere, every city. There were, what was it, like 1,600 No Kings Day events. But that's not the only purpose of No Kings Day. I love to bring up the permaculture concept of stacking functions, where you have one event or one element in your system and you need it to serve as many purposes as possible, as fill as many roles, right? Get you as many yields as possible. That's how you increase the efficiency of your system. You make your sacrifice of time and resources worth it because you're getting all of these different yields. So the first purpose of No Kings Day is that big public show. It's putting all of the pillars of support on notice. It's putting elected officials on notice. The second thing is that it is a recruitment event, especially for people who have never done any kind of civil resistance ever in their entire lives. Hey, No King's Day, super accessible. We're not asking you to get arrested. We're not asking you to get tear gassed. We're not asking you to go to prison. No, this is super accessible. Try this out. Come on in. You've never done anything before. You're really scared. You want to do something, but you don't know what. Start here. The more you can reduce the barrier to entry, the more people you can bring into your movement. And we know, y'all, that effective civil resistance requires mass cooperation of the people. Remember earlier when I was making fun of leftists who are saying like, we don't want to organize with normies. We need all of the normies because we need the numbers. Successful resistance movements have millions and millions of people participating. You're not going to get that kind of big tent participation when you choose to silo yourself only with people who are as edgy and as far left and as radical as you are. No, we need all of the normies. We need totally reasonable, normal people who've never done this before to step out and say, I'm going to choose to be non-compliant with the regime at this moment in time and going forward. And the entry point for so many of those folks is events like No King's Day or honk and wave protests or overpassing events. Very low barrier to entry. Hey, come on in. We need you. We really, you're valued. We need you. Connect, meet other people, form those relationships. Yep, you're valued here. You matter. Your resistance really matters. And by the way, as long as you're doing a No King's Day event, that felt really good. Can we encourage you to do a little bit more? Like, hey, here's some skills to help you level up and do the next thing. There are more ways that you can get involved. There's so much more that you can contribute, and we need you with us. So No Kings is about bringing people in so that they connect with grassroots movements, connect with community, and then we level them up to bigger actions. Which brings me to the second part of how we build and flex our people power. So symbolic actions absolutely are a part of people power, but they are not enough to stop the system. What stops the system is non-cooperation. And people don't know how to be non-cooperative until we bring them in and teach them those skills. That's why I said earlier in the video as well, we're in this moment where we're teaching people. It's all about training and education, helping people understand the reality of the situation and what is required of all of us, what level of sacrifice is required of all of us to stop this. Non-cooperation is the thing that actually disrupts the system. That's what's going to get us where we want to go. But we need the numbers to get there. As former Black Panther Speaks says, by the way, if you don't follow him on YouTube, he's new. I have thus far enjoyed all of his videos. He talks about how large numbers are protective. He says so often social justice movements attempt to take on big actions when they don't have a large enough buy-in from enough people to be protected. They have not built the people power yet. That's why we don't have general strikes happening across the country yet. We haven't brought in all the normies that we need to join us. So those acts of non-compliance involve things like rent strikes, labor strikes, hotels refusing to house ICE. It looks like jury nullification. It looks like mass boycotts where millions of people engage in those boycotts for months and months and months until we have the economic impact that we need. But former Black Panther is right. You have to have the numbers. You have to have the people power. And so in order to get that people power, you have to first have those symbolic actions that are recruitment events that get people to step into this work. And then maybe in another video, I'll talk about the third aspect of people power, which is building alternatives, which we need to be doing right now while we are recruiting more people, while we are laying those plans for big non-cooperative actions, direct actions. We also have to be thinking about what kind of future do we want. We have to plan for the future that we want and need and deserve. Because if we're just against something, we're not for anything, we don't know where we want to go, that often leads countries into situations where they get into cycles of dictators, right? Because they have not created a plan for what the future of their society should look like. Again, that's a lengthy subject for another video. So I just want you to understand, No King's Day. No King's Day is a symbolic action. It's still really effective. It's still a crucial part of resistance. It helps us get to the place where we will have the people power. We will have built the muscle for those much larger acts of non-cooperation that we need everybody to be in on. We need all hands on deck, y'all. So how do we invite folks to the party? No Kings is about inviting folks to the party. So March 28th, mark your calendar, because we all have a party we got to go to, and we're going to bring all our friends. We're going to bring everybody.